What if I told you this was the most important tool? That's everything I wanted. Ta-da. It has been a long week. I have no idea how long it's been since I've posted. I'm just getting back into it with like a little vlog, kind of show you guys where I'm at now, what I'm doing, and I've actually missed doing the vlogs. I was just rewatching them the other night, and it's kind of cool. If you guys like aren't even into like posting on social media, I even just recommend doing this for your life. It's really cool to look back on memories and stuff, and just like where you were. Yeah, I just want to get back into vlogging again, at least once in a while, because I want to, like, you know, when I'm older, look back at, say, like now, you know, when I'm young and stuff. It's just kind of cool. This is my my little book area that I made. I don't know. What do you think? I kind of like this more than having a bookshelf. It not only looks aesthetic, but it's just easier for me to see everything and grab whatever I want. I don't think I'll be using the fireplace anyways, so I'm sure it won't ruin my books since I'm not going to use the fireplace. Oh, and oh yeah, check this out. I was gifted a bouquet, and I guess she thought since I cook for a living, the bouquet should have jalapenos and limes and apples. I should probably throw this away though, because these are starting to look a little ugly. I don't want to get fruit flies. Are these pistachios? This is super creative. It's still kind of a work in progress, but I think maybe I should show you the kitchen. Let's put on the wide angle lens, get a better view for you guys. But this is the new spot. This is the kitchen. I'm super freaking stoked for this because not only does it have an oven on the wall, but it has another oven right here. So 2 ovens when things get really busy. But there's just so much room here. Look at this, one surface, and then another surface, and then a surface over here. And then over here we have another giant surface to work on, this huge island. I've always been against having sinks on an island just because it's in like the center of where I'm making my videos. But since this island is so huge, I can really just put the camera right here and boom, I've got another full island. Or I could go to this side and have another full island too. It's just so big. And then right here, I'm gonna sort of get into pizza doughs. That's what I'm studying here as well. That's why this book is here. I haven't made pizza in so long, and I mean, honestly, I've never done Neapolitan style, even though I worked at spots that had it. I never had to make the dough, I only had to shape the dough. So this is something new to me and I wanna get into it. So I'm working on that there, working on the whole kitchen setup. Let me kind of like run you by what I've got going on here. So over here, I'm super stoked for this. This makes me so happy. Ta-da! This is so dope. I've got everything labeled accordingly. It just looks so aesthetic too. I found these little jars on Amazon. Believe it or not, it was only like, I think 30 bucks for all of these jars. And it's the perfect size, so it fits in the drawer. And the thing is, I have all these spices from Spiceology, but these containers are massive. Just look at that. That's one container. It's just too huge. So I don't want to have 3 Metro racks dedicated just to spices. I could just put them all in smaller ones and refill as I need. And I have these in the big containers because these are things that need to be in big containers, if that makes sense. Like, I can't just have a little thing of, say, sugar, or a little thing of the curing salt or baking powder, because you use larger quantities at a time whenever you're using these things. But I just love how this looks. Even the label maker was hard for me to find. So this label maker, this is the one I wanted just because I think it looks more aesthetic. I've never had to buy a label maker before. So I went to a Staples, I went to an Office Depot, I went to a Target. I didn't find it at all, just because I wanted to do it that same day, and I ended up just having to buy it on Amazon. But look at this. Isn't that so cool? It's got like the indentation so you can feel it. It looks cool. I don't know why these are cheaper than the digital print ones. The digital print ones can run you like $80 to $100, and it's just printing it out on a little piece of paper, and it looks lame. This one, it makes the indentation. It looks cool. It probably lasts longer too. And this is freaking $9.99. I guess maybe because it's manual powered, but still, I think this should be worth more than the digital one. I don't care. I'm not complaining because it cost me only 10 bucks. Either way, Dymo is what I used if you want to get a label maker. It's really dope. Okay, it's probably been like maybe less than half a year since I just moved. Some of y'all pointed out you just moved when I posted that I'm moving. I was getting super tired of traffic. I guess that's a perk of living outside of the city, is dealing with the traffic. And for what I do, like, you know, I want to go get ingredients, and some ingredients you can't just find in a safe way, you know? So anyways, that's not the main reason. It was just also like uninspiring being outside the city and blah, blah, blah. I mean, why do that? I could just move back to Texas, move back home if I'm gonna live outside the city. So I didn't quite move back like fully into the city. I moved into an area that's called Kirkland. If you're familiar with Costco at all, yeah, this is where the Kirkland brand came from Kirkland. And it's like kind of in between city. Like it's not too far from Seattle. It's really close to Bellevue. And check this out. I was just able to walk straight up to this little beach from my house, and we've got the Seattle skyline right there. It's not even been a week living here. I'm already in love. I don't want to leave, honestly. Like I feel good being here, and it's been a long time since I've felt like that. I've moved a lot the entire time I've lived in Seattle. I've lived in Central District, Capitol Hill, downtown, South Lake Union. I even moved 5 hours east to Spokane, Washington. I've moved for a lot over the years, but this first time in a while, I feel really good of where I've landed. Something I like to do to get plugged into a neighborhood that I'm at is go to the local like coffee spot. And that's just because it's like the watering hole thing, you know what I'm talking about? Like the whole like animals with their watering hole, like they all gather at the watering hole. So like I like to come here to like sort of plug into the neighborhood. I actually just met one of y'all here like, I don't know, like a minute ago. She came up to me, said she watched the channel. Thanks for coming up and saying hi, Karen. By the way, if you guys ever see me in public, come say hi. Like, I know I have like a resting mean face sometimes, but that's just my normal face. That beyond the point though, like Karen was telling me about like other good coffee spots to go to and like pastry spots and stuff. That's why I like to come to coffee shops in the area whenever I move. Just, it kind of like plugs you in to the community, you know what I'm saying? That's my whole rant on coffee shops. I mean, yeah, the coffee could be like $5, which is too much, but you know, it's fine. It's the service you pay. Sometimes I like to scan these little baskets and see what we can find. I love this one, Humboldt Fog. It's got this vegetable ash in the center. I'm thinking of starting maybe a cheese fridge. Now that I have the extra space, I could start a cheese fridge and maybe do like a cheese series or something like that. Oh, wow. These are fresh out of the... Yeah. Thank you very much. Nice little sample of corn nuts. You ever made them before? No. No? They're really easy to make, but it just takes a while. You gotta soak them overnight, then dry them out, then fry them off. So I just wanna go over this real quick. I got these from the deli. So the man gave me a little sample because he says they're really good when they're fresh out of the bucket. They get them all the way from Spain. Now, I was under the assumption that they made them here. Look, these are fairly easy to make. You're probably asking, why don't you make them then? Well, the reason being is it takes a long time. It takes like maybe 2 days. We used to make these at the restaurant, and what we would do is you cook these off with the calcium powder, because it's a corn that has like this husk that's like basically inedible. Cook them off with that lime powder, and then you have to like cool them down, you have to dry them off, and then you gotta fry them. It's like a long process, but they sell them here at the store. It's really nice that one of the amenities is living right by a grocery store that I actually like, PCC. If you guys have ever been here in Seattle, it's the solid grocery store to go to. It's not too expensive. It looks bougie, but surprisingly, it's like not too expensive. It's not like Whole Foods either. You know, like Whole Foods has like some sort of sterileness to it. I don't know what it is about Whole Foods, but I'm not like a huge fan. I'll go to Whole Foods if it's like last resort, to be honest. I'd prefer Walmart over Whole Foods. Walmart's more fun. So my neighbors, they just came to my door with warm bread. Like they just made this amazing loaf wrapped with the twine. Like, come on. It's so good too. So what if I told you this was the most important tool for my cooking? This right here, yes, most important tool for my cooking. I'm gonna go over why and probably show you how you can build this to be your most important tool for your cooking. So before I was pretending to be a chef at home like I am today, I used to actually do this professionally. And professionally, we would need a designated area for all of the tools. And the tools could consist of different things depending on the station. And this right here, believe it or not, would be one of the most important things for us as our tool. And no, I'm not talking about the sheet tray, but it goes on the sheet tray. So here's the thing. Depending if you're on grill station or saute station, pantry station, I've worked all of these stations, right? It's gonna depend what you want on your sheet tray. So for example, I'm at home now, so I kind of know what I cook on these videos for you guys. So I know the different things that I need. So for one, I need a finishing oil. So that's gonna be something like this nice finishing olive oil right here. And I could put it in a different container, put it in a little squeezy bottle. I mainly put it in a different bottle just for speed and for speed, and also I can see like how much is left and I can know like when to refill and stuff. But say you're on the saute station, you want something that has like speed for your oil that you're cooking with. Like we would use a speed pour bottle, and I would always have a towel on the station to dry out the fish because we had to dry the fish out before searing it on the pan. I would sometimes need like a squeeze bottle that I'd say had like corn milk because it was corn season. We used corn milk on things to thicken things, just stuff like that. So for depending on what you do at home, like for your cooking, that's gonna overall affect what you put on this sheet tray right here. One of the subscribers back in the day made me this really dope flaky salt bowl. This brings me to the next thing, probably the most important thing, and that's the seasoning. Always keep your salt in some sort of vessel so you have quicker access to your seasoning. So I always usually have like a good size bowl like this, keep it on the tray. Now the other one right here, the one that I keep sealed, mainly so it can stay dry, and that would be the finishing salt. So here, right here, we have my very own salt. There you go. If you want to find it, go find it, buy yourself some, and support. But this is just my gold finishing flake salt. It's always good to finish your food with like a nice flaky sea salt. Add some texture, add some more seasoning. It just makes it a little better. I always keep that right on the side next to the seasoning salt. The next thing I'm going to talk about here is peppercorn. Now, peppercorn is not necessary in every dish, but for the most part, I use peppercorn in most dishes, so I like to keep it in a grinder. This is it comes down to what I said before, like that's how you cook. It's a preference thing. Say you use white pepper in most dishes, then you're gonna keep that on your station. It really depends on how you cook and what you do. Like for example, I like to do a little acid on every dish to finish. Always like acid, salt, some sort of umami like MSG. So I'm probably gonna keep citric acid on my station, or MSG, or maybe even just lemons. It really depends on the cook. This is a really good pepper grinder, by the way. This is the one that pretty much every chef, working chef, will use, and that's the little lion logo. It's called a Peugeot. Best pepper grinder you can find. So that lives right there, right next to the salt. We would usually grind our pepper every day, like just in the blender, and so it's like easier access, because obviously doing this is kind of a pain. But since, like I said, I'm at home, I could just freaking grind it by hand. I don't need to have a full cup of pepper. So far we've got pepper, we've got salt, I've got finishing oil, and now what about cooking oil or cooking fat? Typically, lately, I'm using beef tallows, I'm using animal fats just because I'm sort of straying away from canola oils, rice oils, oils that are, I guess these, well, I don't guess, I know these oils are bad for me now. My next thing I'll keep on my station is just some regular butter covered up. And the tray is starting to look a little more complete. So cleanliness is very important. So I usually keep a towel. This is what I would do at work, except at work it was with a linen, but it's fine. Just use a paper towel, throw it away, put a new clean one every now and then, just to keep it nice and clean, because it can get kind of messy on this tray. Another thing that's gonna go on this tray, or maybe to the side of the tray, is this or this. This is called a bane. And yeah, bain-maries are usually used for warming up liquids slowly. You put another container in there with the simmering water. But in this use scenario, cooks will take a bane and put all their tools in it. So, you know, like all of my spoons, say like my cooking utensils, my finishing spoons, saucing spoons, sauteing spoons, spatulas, stuff like that, they all will live in the bane, and that's off to the side or even on the same tray. And this right here, this is the most important tool in my cooking. This right here, this tray. This is my complete tray. I've got a finishing salt, a cooking salt, I have my finishing oil, I have my cooking fat, pepper, because I use pepper quite a bit, and then my tools. All the other things like acid, MSG, that might come from other sources, because there might be a day where I don't use citric acid and I want to actually use fresh lemon juice, or I want to use vinegar. So yes, if you say you use apple cider vinegar a lot, keep it on your station. But yeah, here it is, my most important tool. I hope this brought you some sort of value. Make your tray. Let me see what your trays consist of, or even comment down below. I want to know like what you guys would put on your tray. So this is going to be the first thing I make in my new kitchen. And it's going to be about corn. I'm going to make a corn gnocchi with a hatch green chili, roasted off. And I'm going to use the corn cob to infuse it into the water for the gnocchi. Now, I'm also going to make like this corn liquid to thicken the sauce as well. Corn is in season right now, so I want to do maybe a corn week or a corn month. And I'm just sort of testing out this little dish, see how it goes. Maybe I'll do the corn elote that y'all voted on recently, because that one's actually really freaking good. I've made that one in the past. And corn is so versatile. I don't know if y'all realize, but corn, it can be so versatile. I mean, it's actually in everything, to be honest. Now here's how you cut your corn the right way. So we take a big bowl and then a smaller bowl. That goes in the bowl, and then the corn goes in the bowl. See how it could basically stand on its own? I then take a knife. Preferably do not touch the knife onto the bowl so you don't ruin your knife. You could also put a little towel on there just to hold the corn so you don't hurt your knife. And then that's it. Just cut down and then keep turning. Now that might look done to you, but there's still so much more. Look, come closer over here. So you take the back end of your knife and give it a little scrapey scrape. See, that's so much corn coming off of there. Now all the corn is pretty much landed in the bowl, and I could keep cutting. This is something that I picked up at work because during corn season we'd have to cut so much corn, and you got to find a quicker way to do it, especially to get all that corn that just flies everywhere. This is the way right here. Okay, now these right here, these do not get tossed. This is gonna go into my gnocchi water. This has so much starch in it and so much flavor. I'm telling you, do not waste it. Don't throw it away. Utilize this stuff. Corn can be so versatile, as I've said. I'm using the corn cob. I'm using the actual corn itself. And then I can even utilize the husk if I want to get that like perfumey smell and just like toast it off. But I'm not doing that today. So this right here is utilizing the starch from the corn. I'm making a little corn milk. And all I've got to do is probably about, I don't know, about 2 cups of water. And I'm doing about ½ cup or so of the corn. And then this is just going to get blended until nice and fine. And this is going to be utilized to thicken the sauce of the pasta. And then now I just put it in a little squeezy bottle. This can just go right in the fridge and I keep it chilled. This can be basically used like you would a cornstarch. It thickens up things nicely, but the beauty of it is it actually has flavor from the corn. It's a corn milk. Think of it like that. Really good product. Try it out. If I toast these off a bit before I add all my other stuff, it's going to add not only that cornstarch, but the flavor into the gnocchi itself. In reality, it's going to be a corn gnocchi. I could also put corn in it if I want, but I'd rather just have the corn whole and toasted into the dish itself. And gnocchi is one of my favorite pastas to make just because it's so simple. It's just water, butter, plus flour and egg. I mean, that's pretty much every pasta, right? But the reality of this is I don't need to roll anything out. I just put it into a piping bag, squeeze it into some boiling water, and it's done. Good to go. In this scenario, I'm getting so much flavor from the corn husk as well. You see how the liquid has become like nice and thick, kind of milky looking? That's thanks to this guy right here. Gosh, it smells like creamed corn already. That smells so good. Now, have I done this before? I think so. I've utilized the corn husk in many things. Have I done it in gnocchi? Probably. I've done it with churros. Works great with churros. Usually I would do the flour addition into a mixer, but screw it. It's not that much. And I've got time to mix it by hand. Now, if you are gonna mix this by hand, I recommend using a wooden spoon, mainly because of the scrapage that you're gonna get. And also I do recommend you have your heat still on, but at least on low. Something I was always taught is like, cook it a little bit, just so you cook off that flour taste. I gotta say, I'm really enjoying, that was a weird crack. I'm really enjoying cooking in this kitchen right now. It just feels so spacious. I need to keep it like this. I need to keep it nice and tidy and organized just so it keeps staying spacious. But surfaces, man. I love having all these surfaces. This is great. Some people have been asking me, what's this? This is called a trivet. You put this underneath the pan when it's hot. It keeps your counters pretty much safe. Do this in a stand mixer if you're not confident that you can do this quickly. Should probably even it out with the other arm just so it doesn't look weird. Have one pumped arm. You could try Ziploc, but it might pop. This dough is just so dense, as you can see. So you need something that can handle it. There we go. Also, get yourself one of these. Really great tool, bench scraper. Now, when you're making Parisian style gnocchi, I mean also any pasta, but gnocchi in general, you need to cook it off in water before the pastas become its shape. So I need to bring up this whole thing of water. Of course, I salt it like the ocean, very salty. And while that's going, I've got some of these green chilies, because it's green chili season as well. Actually, I only need one for this dish. So these They're gonna add a nice smokiness to it, but also a nice crunch. Da-da. I'm gonna make something that's kind of like a succotage. Succotage is like this southern style sauteed corn with beans and peppers. And I also want to make everything sort of the same shape as the, not shape, but same like size as the corn kernel. So everything's going to be cut like somewhat that size. Same thing for the gnocchi. I don't want the gnocchi to be normal gnocchi size. I want it to be kind of the same size as the corn kernel. And that's something I've never tried before. That's why I'm testing it out. And you're gonna see it here on the vlog first. If you guys end up liking it, if I end up liking it, then I'm going to make a full-fledged YouTube video on it. There's our corn and peppers. I would like to put some garlic in this, but since I just moved and I forgot to get it at the store, I don't have any garlic on me. But that might be in the finished dish. Garlic or maybe some sort of shallot, onion, some allium of some sort. Now before I cook this off, this is where you can sort of make the size decision of the gnocchi. And typically I would kind of go right here. But if I want it to be like corn kernel size, I might go like right here. Let's see. Yeah, that looks about where I want it to be, a little corn kernel size. All right, cool. Now I'm making corn gnocchi. And when making any gnocchi, even if it's corn, the water should not be boiling. It should be simmering. And here's the reason. If it's a hard rolling boil, then it's gonna fall apart. This stuff can be delicate and you want it to like keep that shape. If you don't want it to like get all weird and fall aparty, a nice simmer is good, even a little below a simmer. So what I do, follow closely, twist it nice and firm, set this like hanging on the side, and then my motion is like this. This is my motion while squeezing. Here we go. This is actually looking really cool. I've never made a gnocchi this size. This is really freaking cool. It's like little corn cobs. Let it go for now. This right here, this is called a spider. This is what I use to pull them out. I wait for them all to like float and then I give it another little minute and I'll pull them out, and it's then gonna go onto a tray that I'm just putting some olive oil on. You could do butter, you could do whatever sort of fat, just so it doesn't like stick to the pan itself. I'm really happy with how this is looking. Look at this. This looks so good. There it is. Yo, that actually looks really good. This is gonna be a good video. Now you're probably wondering, why am I using this guy right here? This is an offset spatula. This is something I was taught by all of my chefs to use when making gnocchi. It just makes life so much easier. For some reason, like the slant in it really helps with this movement. My other option would probably be a butter knife. Nothing that's sharp. You don't want anything sharp that's gonna cut through the bag. Now into the refrigerator this goes. It could be like, you know, maybe 30 minutes or so, just enough to like cool it off completely. And these are really small, so it won't take that long. We want it to cool off completely. It builds like this exterior shell. So right now it's gonna be a little too soft to saute. If I saute it, it's just gonna like kind of turn into mush. So it needs to cool off completely. Now, I haven't had breakfast yet, so I'm gonna have a little steaky steak with it. Okay, now for the cooking portion. I'm gonna cook off the gnocchi with the corn and the peppers and all the things. There's the corn milk in. Hot plate, hot food. This is looking pretty good. Maybe I'll put some herbage on top for garnish when I do the video. Now time to see how it is. That's everything I wanted.